Supercars League. I am Mark Bratby in commentating alone today. We are just riding on board with Brett at this present moment, doing a virtual hot lap here of Tokyo track. So over to you, Brett. We'll just learn how to ride on board with it. There you go. Over to you, Brett.
Thanks, boys. So welcome everyone to the first race of the Transnation Esports Supercars Championship. I'm riding on board the BMW Transnation Supercar safety car. Not that we'll probably ever see it on the track in proper function, but we're just about to get ready to start a flying lap around here. Mark probably caught me a bit too early on the piece, but we'll just flow it around anyway. We'll just treat this as though this is the main straight. So we're heading into the last corner. Such a tight end bend, and of course the pit lane is just on the outside there. We're just going to get a bit wobbly there, but we'll pull it through. And now we'll just cruise it down through this long straight. This is where the Mustangs have their primary advantage over the Hyundais, but with a tow it should be able to kind of come back into either favour. Qualifying's definitely going to be a true showing of who's got the pace to slipstream off one another without getting hurt by the contact system and whatnot in this game. So coming through the bridge up into the high-end Expressway section, you do want to take this about fourth gear if you can manage to turn the car in nicely and just hug the inner wall. You want to just squeeze it to the wall a little bit to the outside, and then the depth chicane has been noted by a few people. Just want to get there and nice and firm, and then you want to size yourself up. You want to use as much road here. A lot of Mustang drivers are saying that they can't actually go through here at full speed, so that's probably going to be something that might help the Hyundais a little bit. Now this is the main straight in general, but because we started a little bit later, we'll carry fourth. And then into what is turn one. This complex really is tricky if you get it wrong. You just want to hug the inner wall coming into one, then two and three, same thing. You just want to be so ginger, or probably a little too much wall there, but we're still flowing through. And then this corner here, you just want to be able to just kind of position it just enough to get the gas down, and then down the hill, which will then lead us to what is the last corner of this virtual flying lap around on the Transnation Supercars BMW safety car. So that's one lap down, 26 to go. Who's going to take it out? We don't know. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, look, guys, one thing we did see there is the pit straight, or the pit area, is not on the main straight, so that's going to cause a bit of confusion between myself up here and fellow drivers out on track. So we are set to go here at the Combox. We're just waiting for everyone to get into their acquired cars. Now, why I have Brett unmuted already, I will speak to Brett quickly. I'm just going to do a quick talk with all the drivers here and get their thoughts for the season. So Brett, first off with you, mate, thoughts for the season, Chief, and what's your main goal here?
Stay out of trouble is probably the first one. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season to fence. I'll just get Seb, while I've got him, to change it to group so yeah, last season we didn't have as much people on the grid. Today we definitely a lot better than usual, so it's going to be an interesting foray. Of course, we've got the top 5 shootout today, so old Ken's managed to sling his way in, so that's good for him. Yeah, I think all in all, I think we've got, a lot of potential to get some good stuff here. I mean, a 10-minute qualifying burst to determine the top 5, and then it's going to be an interesting one. Season progression, got to try and defend the number 1, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, so we'll leave it there with Brett at this stage. Now, look, I'm just going to unmute everybody, and hopefully no one is talking Well, I have unmuted everybody. So we will actually go with, as the room settings have changed, so we'll just wait and get everybody back on. So I'll just quickly talk. Practice is open qualifying for, I think it's 10 minutes, is that right, Brett? 15 minutes or something?
Yep. 10 minutes, and it will be pit lane will be open in about 3 minutes.
So that's qualifying, and then our qualifying time there on the bottom of the screen, the 15 minutes qualifier is the top 5 shootout, which is determined by obviously the practice / qualifying time. So the top 5 will do a single lap each, and then the room owner will have to set a custom grid again to get the rest of the field into their positions, and then we can go racing. And then race 2 is reverse grid of the finishing order for race 1. So race 2 should be an interesting race. All the faster guys at the back, the slower guys at the front. Passing around here, like Brett said, the Mustang should have the legs coming out of the pit lane there through the quick S's. Coming down to the hairpin to the pit entrance will be a massive passing spot. But apart from that, so we'll go to Andrew, F1 Amazing Hour here, because I've got your car on screen. Thoughts for the season, Andrew?
Well, it's probably the main aim for myself really for this season is really just to try and keep it clean, and on some level really just enjoy this. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I'm looking forward to it. If pre-season was any indication, this is going to be bloody close between all of us, so it's I'm not going to pick a winner because personally I don't think that's possible. Any one of these 14, 16 drivers could win this race, so it's just a tell situation really, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be good, so can't wait to get rolling.
Okay, so now we'll go to Mackenzie Stewart. Mackenzie, your thoughts on the season, mate, or season ahead?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very excited for the season to finally get underway. It's been a tough roller coaster to get this rebooted after a tough run on Project Cars. But from last season, we definitely looked like we were one of the quicker guys on the in the field, and definitely looking to replicate that once again. Got a new teammate in Andrew. We're able to keep the Red Bull sponsoring, and it was a mutual agreement to depart with Brett and that. So good luck to him trying to retain that number 1, but boy, it ain't gonna be easy. So the Red Bull MS Motorsport boys are looking to put the authority down on the championship and get ready to go racing harder than we have before.
Okay, I'll let you go now, mate. Pit lane is now open, so we're expecting to see a flurry of drivers. Harry, I'll come to you. I've got you on screen at the moment. Just before you get onto a flyer, mate, what's your thoughts and your goals for this season?
Well, mate, it's kind of mixed at the moment because this race will kind of be a good gauge to see what the pace is like between, for the rest of the field. The goal in the Mustang is to hopefully stay within the top 5 in the quicker segment of drivers. I'm confident in my pace around Gran Turismo for the most part. I'm confident with the Mustang for the season, heading for a top 5 in not only this race but hopefully in the championship. So
so we'll leave you there because you've just started your flyer, mate. So good luck, and hopefully talk to you later in the top 5 shootout.
Cheers, mate.
Hey, Mark, can you give me a good
Yeah, only you and Mark. That's it.
Okay, so everyone, I'll mute everyone now for people who are watching the stream, and I'll just stay in the comm box. And then who's that? Mackenzie's broadcasting as well, so we won't talk to anyone just yet. They are all on trying to do qualifying laps, so we'll just no, bloody PlayStation. There's got to be easy ways to do this, surely. Jordan, Don, Mike, Axel and Bailey. So we're qualifying going, no one set a lap, which we would understand. Jordan's actually ghosted there with his beautiful looking Hyundai Woodstock. I do believe Sebastian, excuse me, done that paint job, don't quote me on it. Ken Doyle in his Hyundai F1 inspired in car number 25. Nate Smith, I think it is, Don Van Cito, he's in a Mustang with, what's his main sponsor? I can't actually tell. Is there, no, there's no good way to have a look. So, and then you got Mackenzie Stewart with the Red Bull, as he was just speaking to us there. Bailey Ford, Monster Energy. His teammate, team owner Sebastian Spicer in another Monster Energy. Jacob Todd in a super cheap Mustang, driving Chaz Mostert's car pretty much. Alex Little driving another Mustang. And I'm not too familiar with whose teammates at this moment. I know Brett and Amura are. I know Sebastian and Bailey are. Sebastian, Mackenzie and Andrew are. I think Alex and Jacob might be, I think. Don't quote me. But anyway, at the moment, top 5 is Mackenzie Stewart over Sebastian Spicer by 0.2 of a second, over Jacob Todd by 0.5 of a second, pretty much. All just been changed to a second a lap. So Alex Little has absolutely blistered it with a 132.166 to take provisional pole by a good half a second. Now with the top 5 shootout, I'll just explain how that's going to work as we try and see who's doing what sort of laps. Harry in P6 with the 33.7. So what's going to happen with the top 5 shootout? 5th is going to come out first, which at the moment is Bailey now. So he will be first out on track, and then when he gets halfway around on his hot lap, the next car will come out. So there's no interlapping, there's no drag, there's no slipstream down the straights, there's no interference. It's you, the car, the track, and that is it. So the top 5 will be a lot closer than these times. Maybe Alex might have got a bit of help, but he's well, he just pitted, so he'll be by himself at the moment. But you know, if these guys are trying to bank on getting in the top 5 with slipstream and a bit of teamwork, it's not going to help them in the shootout. So it really pays just to get out there by yourself and get that spot on your own merit, because you're not going to go any quicker by having a teammate help you now to get through to the top 5. As Don's in a Boss Mustang and he puts it around there at the hairpin. That's very unfortunate. Get a time penalty for hitting the wall there, so that's going to catch a lot of people out. This Ken Doyle F1 Game Setups is his main sponsor. So very nice car there, Ken. Brett in the truck assists car. Don in the Mustang. Jordan is in the... Now Jordan's actually a part of Brett's team. He is in his own car, but he's technically owned by Brett. So that's... We all know the history of Brett and Jordan being teammates, and they usually come together when they're teammates. So that could be something to watch out for. Mural's coming across the line. Can he improve? No, that's an outlap. So he's just started to fly now, and he had that little bit of slipstream there from Mackenzie Stewart. So this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, that little bit of slipstream might help him now to get into the top 5, but it's not going to help him when he gets into there. So he's got to do it on his own merit. Harry is currently P8, up on his personal best by half a second. So as this fuel load burns out of the car, as you can't start the car with lighter fuel, so the first bit of qualifying is always, with a heavier car, and that's another thing to think of. This top 5 shootout will all be with a heavy car, so the times won't be as quick as what we're seeing now, as there's an absolute train of 3 cars here, 3 Mustangs coming through the tunnel all at once. Josh Banks, Jacob Todd and Bailey Ford all at once there, and Jacob's the only one without the spotlights running, so that's very unusual there for Jacob. So at this current moment we've got Alex Little on a 131.9 holding provisional pole. Bailey Ford is 0.4 of a second off of that with a 132.4. Josh Banks with a 132.5, only a tenth behind Bailey. So that's what we saw in pre-season testing, that there was a lot of guys within a tenth of each other. Mackenzie Stewart is a 132.7, so he's a long way, 2 tenths behind Josh, but he's 3/4 of a second behind Pole, so that's a long way back. And then you got Harry with 2 tenths behind Mackenzie, and he's with a 132.9, so he's currently holding the final spot of the top 5 shootout. And then you got Sebastian Spicer just come out of the pit lane, only 3/100ths of a second behind Harry, so there's not much in himself and Harry. Jacob in P7 with a 33.2 as his personal best. Andrew Lee is yet to settle that and still got a full tank in him, so this could really cost Andrew at 1.2 seconds off the pace at the moment, and qualifying won't have too long to go, so it looks like he's just helping his teammate here with a bit of slipstream down this back straight of the circuit, as you can see there by the mini-map. A mural is just in front of Andrew at the end of this back straight. It is all flat through there, so cars shouldn't have time, as Brett's called time on qualifying, so that's qualifying done and dusted. They can finish their hot laps if they're on one. So Jordan will be the first one to come across the line. No, there's someone in front of Jordan. I don't actually know who that is. Jordan comes across the line to do a 58.35. No, so that doesn't improve him. Amural improves, but not enough. So Amural's done a 33.2 to do his personal best there at the end of qualifying session, just the way you like it. Sebastian's made his flyer apparently. Now this is where it makes it hard. We really need to host 2 different qualifying sessions, but you can't do that. Seb and Josh were the last ones across the line, so Alex is coming across the line but he's already 36.37, so he's already backed off his lap. Bailey's put it into the fence at the pit box. Josh is coming up out of the tunnel now, and Sebastian's just in front of Josh. So where's Harry in between? Harry's coming over the line. No, Harry's just come across the line. So we got Jacob has got the final spot at the moment. Will he improve to out of a 33.2 he's got to beat? He does that with a 32.9. It doesn't move him up though. Josh comes across the line to do a 32.1, and Seb come across the line to the 32.5. So that's qualifying done and dusted. Andrew's just on his lap now, so he's coming up to the death chicane there, and it really is, those sausage curbs do throw your car as he's actually backed out of it, so he's missed qualifying altogether there. So that's unfortunate for those guys. So it's saying Don Van Cito is now in P4. So if anyone watching this was in the top 5, don't jump out of your car. Don't jump out of the session, because Seb's actually got to end qualifying. Seb's got to actually end practice and start qualifying, and then we can get the order sorted. So hopefully Brett's got the order within his head, and he is writing messages here. So Seb was P5, Macca was P4, Bailey was P3. Then we got Josh in P2 with Alex in P1. So that's our qualifying done and dusted there, ladies. Well, our first part of qualifying done and dusted. So now all we're waiting for is Seb to start the qualifying session. And they don't have a lot of time. I think it's only a 10-minute time limit, so hopefully they all get a lap in to do their qualifying, and then hopefully Seb can do a custom grid, because yeah, currently, actually I can bring that up on stream. So so there we have it. For anyone watching, Alex with a 31.9, and then Bailey with a 32. No, Josh with a 32.2, Bailey with a 32.4. Then so here we go, we're starting qualifying. So Sebastian will be the first car out, if I can get Sebastian's car. So they won't have a lot of time. They'll want to get straight out there, as Mackenzie's actually going first. So why we got other cars out for in the top 10 shootout, I don't know. Someone in the party chat will have to let Mackenzie Stewart know this, that this is the top 5 shootout, and Sebastian should be the only one out on track. But he won't have the stream going, so it'll have to be someone within his party to let him know. If we can make that happen, ladies and gentlemen, that would be great. So they got 14 minutes remaining, so every second they wait longer in the pits is time burning out of their top 5 shootout. So the quicker Mackenzie just retires that car back into pit lane and Seb gets out, we'll be grateful. Or unless if Mackenzie was due to actually go first, if Brett could let me know down in the comment sections. So here we go, Mackenzie Stewart on his fly. Now the good thing with this pit lane is they only get half a lap out to do their flying lap before they have to do their flyer, so we're not burning so much time through there. So he's coming down the hill now to the hairpin, brake at the 100-metre board, hard on the brakes, stands on the brakes. You can see those glowing red discs, flames coming out the sides there from the side pipes, come past the pit exit there, running on the wall, coming down through the tunnel section. So this is all flat through here and doing 250 k's at the moment. Coming through the tunnel, up the hill now. Remember, Alex did a 131.9 for his provisional pole. Sebastian Spice has just got out on the circuit, so he will be next across the line, as I will unmute Mackenzie as we... Actually, I won't have time to, so I'll just have to catch them all later on, because of where the pit lane is situated. So this week will be a little bit different. Mackenzie rubs the wall, but he comes across the line to set a... here he comes now, a 32.4 to set the provisional poll. Actually, no, I won't have time, so I won't be able to talk to any of the guys through qualifying, unfortunately, this week, ladies and gentlemen, like we would want to. But so here comes Sebastian now, starting his flyer lap. You can see there, 6 gear, 254 k's an hour in the Mustang. He's a bit easier on the brakes. It'll be interesting to see how he runs his brakes there compared to Mackenzie Stewart. Mackenzie was running them very heavy to the front at the hairpin. Whether or not Seb will be doing that will be very interesting to see. He's just rubbed the wall there on my screen. I don't know if that was a bit of desync or he did actually rub the wall. He didn't get a penalty for it, so I don't think he did. Hard on the brakes coming into the hairpin. The fronts are glowing, so he's obviously running a bit more front biased. There, so comes past the pit exit. The next person will start coming out of pit lane now. As it is his teammate Bailey Ford. So at this stage, Mackenzie Stewart in P1 with a cracker time of a 32.4. So now Sebastian Spicer coming through the tunnel section. Oh, he's just hit the wall through there. That's cost him a couple of tenths. Will that cost him a front row start? Possibly. It's all going to come down to this final sector here. He's run that very as hard as he can through there. He comes up to the death chicane. Now you don't want to touch any of those sausage curbs. As you're seeing, it just launches the car completely up on one side. So hopefully they can do this a little bit cleaner a bit further on, as Sebastian Spicer now comes across the line. What's he going to set? A 133.1. So as I was expecting, a few tenths lost there from scraping on the wall through the tunnel, as Bailey just comes out of the death chicane to start his flyer lap. So here we go, coming in. He's just started his flyer lap now. So here he comes up to 6th gear. He's already just as quick as Seb, a little bit quicker than Seb actually. So that's a bit noticeable there. Gained a couple of vital thousandths of a second there from his teammate. So his teammate had a bit of a scruffy lap through here at the end of the S's. Bailey hasn't hit the fence, so that's worked well in Bailey's fortune there. Coming down into the hairpin now. This is a very nice corner to get right. And if you run your brake vice perfect, you can just get the rear end to slide out of there just a little bit to help the car turn as he comes up through this very long back straight now. Being the Fords, they've got the run through here, but at the moment Hyundai has the top spot. So can the Fords topple the Hyundais? And I do believe there's only the one Hyundai within the top 5 of Mackenzie Stewart. Alex Little running a Ford Mustang, as far as I know. So the Ford have dominated the top 5 to that aspect, but they can't get the time on the timesheets at the moment. Bailey comes through the quick S's. I'll say quick S's because you throw your car in there very quickly. He's coming around the final turn now. He just scrapes the wall there. So that could cost him a couple of tenths. What can he do compared to his teammate? A 32.1 to take pole position at the moment. So now we jump on board with Josh Banks. So Bailey at the moment on top of Mackenzie Stewart, on top of Sebastian Spicer. So at the moment, the worst Mackenzie can do is start P4 if these two better him. So Josh is just rubbing a bit of fence there. It doesn't seem to have cost him any speed, but we'll find out in a second or two when he crosses the line here for the first sector. Not that I've been taking times of the sector points, so that could be really uneventful for me. Oh, he's gone a little bit deep into the hairpin, had to tap the brake. This is there a second time, which is not what you want to be doing in a race car. So now he comes up to this very long back straight coming through the tunnels. Alex still hasn't come out onto track at this stage, being the final runner of the top 5. So that will be very interesting at this stage. Seems he did get provisional pole, and if he's wanting to back that up, otherwise he will start 5th. So Josh now comes back down the hill into the quick S's, as Alex still hasn't come out the pits yet, as he just comes out now. So Alex has got a bit more track clearance behind him, as Josh Banks comes into the final turn, doesn't hit a fence like Bailey did. So could this be quicker than Bailey to do a 32.4? It's not quite quicker than Bailey. It is quicker than Mackenzie by 4/1000ths of a second, ladies and gentlemen. He's 2/10, almost 3/10 of a second down on Bailey's time. So now we're just waiting for pure actual Alex Little with his TNF1 Esports logo there on the bonnet. So that's a very good plug there for the TNF1 channel. But here we are in the Supercars session. He's coming into the Death Chicane. Now, Gran Turismo isn't the best simulator for tyre warmth, as they don't really simulate tyre warmth at all. So Alex now to come across the line, the final car out in qualifying. So bear with us once this is finished to set the custom grid, and we'll get off racing, and then we'll have a 5-minute delay, which is where I'll talk to all the guys again that want to talk, and get their views on race 1 before we start the reverse grid of race 2. But Alex Little coming through the quick S's there at the first sector very nicely, not anywhere near the walls, so he doesn't seem to be pushing it as hard as some of the other guys were through there. But Alex has got very good track pace around on this game. Always he gets a little bit slidey out of the hairpin. That's going to cost him a couple of tenths a second there, just coming out of that hairpin. So hopefully he was up enough to jump Bailey's 32.1. Now Alex did a 31.9 to get provisional pole. So that will be the sort of times we're looking at, but they're all on full tanks of fuel. So whereas he might have done that 31.9 on a half a tank of gas after he'd run a few laps and put fresh tyres back on it, he's coming up the hill on this cambered corner, comes back down, running down the hill, coming into the Death Chicane. He's caught that very nicely, actually. Hasn't taken the exit as wide as some of the other guys. Comes into the final corner. He can't quite take it flat like Brett was saying. He just rubs the wall. That might have cost him pole. As he comes down the line now, it has too. It's cost him pole. He's in 5th position with a 33.3. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our top 5 of Bailey Ford Start in P1, Josh Banks in P2, Stuart McKenzie in the one and only Hyundai Genesis in P3 for the top 5, Sebastian Spicer in P4, and then Alex Little in P5. And that brings out the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. To all our 14 viewers at the moment, I have got the YouTube channel's comments coming, so leave us a comment on who you think is going to take race 1 at the moment. Now, a big surprise was to not see Brett or Andrew in that top 5. They were the 2 quickest within our pre-season practice last week. So to not see those 2 guys in there supporting Mackenzie Stewart and the other Hyundai is a big loss there to Hyundai's manufacturer war. Now, unlike the F1 manufacturer trophy, this just goes to the 2 cars, so everyone will score points for that team. So if this was the race and it finished the way it has, Ford have taken a big chunk of points over the Hyundais out of this race. But it is a 21 round championship, I do think, or a 19. A mural did send me a link to that, but I might just check that now if I can while we wait for this bit of time. So where are we? Race calendar. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 round championship. Now, not every round has 2 races. We have got a couple of rounds of enduros being the last 2. So, one at Bathurst. The Bathurst will be the Bathurst 250, and then a Blue Moon Infield 300 will be our final race on the 18th of April. Actually, no, that's a 2-race weekend. So, sorry, Bathurst is our final enduro, and Auto Populous 300 is our first enduro for the year. And our final race, subject to change, will be either 18th of April at the Blue Moon Infield or Catalonia on the 2nd of May, but that might be dropped depending on numbers and everything else going. So as far as I'm aware, we're just waiting for this time to jump out, so I'll grab Bailey Ford quickly if he will let me. Bailey Ford, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mark.
Pole position, mate, for the first race of the season. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty happy with it. It felt like a pretty good lap. I struck the wall coming out of the final corner, but that was well good enough to beat all the rest of the pack. So yeah, I'm happy with the pole position.
How did the car feel with a heavy tank, mate, and fresh tyres? Because you're going to have a heavy car with doughy tyres very quickly, from what I hear. So, you happy with the car at the moment, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I burned a bit of fuel off before I started my lap, but it's feeling real good. I'm happy with the weight, the handling, and the straight line speed. So we'll see how we go in the race.
Okay, so I'm uncertain on what we're actually waiting for. Maybe you could enlighten us. Is it just the timer?
Basically, the quality session screwed up a little bit. We haven't been able to set all the people's positions around correctly, so I guess they're just going to have to put up with it for this week and next week, and in future we can fix it all up. So
well,
yeah, just put up with it for this week.
Yeah, I do believe our next top 5 shootout may be the Enduros, so top 5's not every weekend, so we can just run a normal qualifying session at the start of the lobby and just go from there. So yes.
And the reverse grid will also kind of even it out, I guess, again. So hopefully it's all better next week and all that. Yeah, that's just this week.
Yep. Okay, mate. I'll let you get back to your teammate, mate, and talk team strategies, and hopefully talk to you after your races. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We heard from the pole sitter, Mr. Bailey Ford, and we have heard there that we can't actually set anybody else's positioning. So from the look of it, it'll be Don Van Zito will start P6, Jordan will start P7, Brett will start P8, Andrew will start P9, Amira will start P10, Ken Doyle in 11, Jacob in 12, and Harry all the way down the back at P13. So hopefully we get this race underway very quickly. Alex and Jordan have both been told to come back to pit lane. So they're both just cruising. I understand it a little bit. As long as they don't set, or no, even if, especially Jordan, even if he set a time, it would bump him up the grid. So, as long as he doesn't set a time, I don't see the harm in being out there at the moment. And actually being qualifying over, they technically won't be able to leave their car. So that is why we're stuck at the moment, because Alex only pitted, and they won't actually be able to retire their car. So it'll be under AI control. So Jordan won't get to the end here and actually set a lap. So that's very strange for some reason, but so race 22 laps, I do believe, around here. Strategy, from what I hear, they should get 8, maybe 9 laps of tyre. Jordan actually gets a 4-second penalty for qualifying. I don't understand that. So here we go. Transnation Supercar, round 1, race 1 and 2. We got Bailey there in the Monster Energy Ford, Josh Banks in P2, Stuart McKenzie P3, Sebastian Spicer P4, Pure, Alex Little P5, Nate Smith, I think his last name is there, in P6, Jordan Dittmer in P7, Brett in P8, Andrew P9, but the lights are out, the way we go. It's been a clean start for everyone at this moment. Bailey's absolutely got swamped. Josh has got the best start of the lot, with Sebastian now on the outside of Josh. Alex is on the outside following Sebastian. So Josh has got it's still too wide here. I don't know where to call. Bailey's actually got around Alex yet again, but Josh has run away with this fight as Jacob gets pushed into the wall. Up here is Jordan's lagging just a little bit. A mural's all over the spot. Someone's got a penalty already. Who is that? That's Jordan with a 2-second penalty already. A mural's in the wall. Harry's up to P10. Brett's down to P11 as a mural goes. Nate Smith is down to P13 on the outside of the hairpin. We'll go back to the front with Josh Banks' 7/10 of a second already. And then we got Sebastian Spicer in P2. P3 is still juggling here between Bailey Ford and Alex Little, and this is letting Mackenzie Stewart and Andrew Lee catch up to the back of these guys and get their slipstream. So this won't be helping the Mustangs at all, but Bailey now has taken P3 with Bailey just in with Alex, now going down the inside at the death chicane. No, he's thought against it. He's following Bailey now through the death chicane as I think that was Andrew there in the background getting a lot of curb coming through there. Just rubs the wall for good luck with Jacob Todd right behind him. We'll go back to the front, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what you want to see. As Josh Banks does a 1:39.6 to do the fastest lap on the opening lap of 26 laps. And we can already see there the Mustangs have just burnt a little bit more fuel than what the Hyundais have. So as Alex is now on the he's trying to move on Bailey here, and all this battling is just letting the Hyundais of Mackenzie and Andrew catch right up. Now Andrew's very quick in F1 terms, but I wouldn't underrate him here in Gran Turismo either. He will be a quick driver to get, as Alex Little makes that position stick now there at the hairpin, and we get a very long shot as we get Harry coming through the back there. So Todd's made up a few spots as well. Harry into P8, Brett down to P9. A mural has got 6/10 of a second of penalty. Ken Doyle is up to P11 after being 12th. So Jordan's down now to P12, and Nate Smith is P13. As Josh has lost a lot of time now to Sebastian, Alex, Bailey, Mackenzie, Andrew, and Todd. Oh, someone there hit the wall. Who is that? That was someone that's hit the wall. It's Alex. No, yes. No, it's Sebastian Spicer, hit the wall there at the Jess chicane. I couldn't quite catch who that was. Alex has had an accident as well somewhere. He's down to P7. So now we got Josh Banks is comfortably 2 seconds up the road. Mackenzie Stewart's jumped Bailey Ford out of all of that somewhere. Sorry for that bit of kerfuffle there. I couldn't quite find who was dropping. There were a few names, and with all the jumping around. I couldn't quite see who it was. So Mackenzie Stewart now is under pressure from Bailey. Bailey's gone around the outside of the hairpin. Can he pull it up? He's pulled it up. Will he get the switchback? I will just go here to standard camera, so hopefully I can change it, but it's not letting me. So Andrew now has a 4-second penalty, so I don't know what that was for, but Bailey got around Mackenzie's there, and Andrew's already starting to burn that penalty. He's got 0.3 of a second off it already, so you can just see how much of this has worked, because now Josh has got 2.3 second gap onto Bailey Ford. Now these two run at the top tier in the F1 Championship as well, so they all know how each other race, general racing ethics. As Jacob there gets through, Andrew's dropped a lot of time now. Jacob's actually jumped Andrew, so whether or not there was another incident there's a lot of penalties now coming up on top of people's names. It is for just rubbing the wall, so as we do have wall rubbing penalties on, just to make it so you can't wall ride the whole lap around and really get a quick lap in. So Mackenzie's just dropped off the back of Bailey Ford here. The front two have spread out, well the front three have spread out, and Jacob's a second and a half off Mackenzie, but Alex is coming his way back to the field. He was in P7 there just a lap ago and he's already up to P5, so Alex will be one to watch. Harry gets another penalty. That must have been for a bump and run on someone. Brett's jumped Andrew as well. Andrew's lost his 4-second penalty though, so Andrew's now good to go all the way up, and Muriel now has got 0.5 of a second in P9 there. Sebastian Spicer in P10. He will be absolutely kicking himself. Now, last time we done this race, this series on Gran Turismo, there were a few guys having problems with their pedals not working properly, and Sebastian Spicer is actually one that's rectified that problem. So hopefully that issue doesn't bite him back in the bum later on. Jordan Dittmer in P11 having a steady old race at the moment with Don Van Cedo, or Nate Smith, I think is his actual name. I might be wrong with that. Please correct me if I am. Is in P12, flashing his lights for us there. And then Ken Doyle all the way at the back, hoping to get a better result. But if he stays there at the moment, he will start at the front of the field, as Josh has lost that 2.5 second gap that he had on Bailey's. Mackenzie going for a move. He's trying the outside. What's he going to do here? Is he going to sell the dummy? There's a bit of a battle on the background, as well as Alex is trying around the outside of Jacobs fought the position nicely and kept the inside line there. I thought Alex had that job done, but not quite, as Jacob actually gets a 1 second penalty for a bit of contact there, I do believe. So Jacob's really making Alex work for this position, which is great to see, because Alex is very quick, and you can see that Alex has already got around Jacob, so maybe Jacob's just thought, I'll let him go here and just follow him and try and catch back up to the front three, because they are all battling. Bailey's actually got in front here from Josh Banks. So Josh is, after that blitz of a start to take P1 off the line, Bailey's back into the front of the field here with a 33 flat as his personal best. It's not the quickest all up, as Alex has done a 31.9, so you can really see how hard Alex is pushing. He's almost 1.1. He is 1.1 seconds quicker than Bailey's best. And Josh done a 35 that last lap, so he's 3 and a bit seconds quicker than Josh that lap. Mackenzie Stewart did a 34.3, and his best is a 32.5. So there's a lot of different times here coming out, as Alex did a 33.5 that lap. So with a bit of traffic in Jacob there at the hairpin, as he tries the over and under on Mackenzie Stewart. He's made the move stick, I do believe. Bit of contact maybe coming out of the hairpin, but he's far enough up front now to put himself back on the podium position after that tangle there with Sebastian Speicher at the death chicane. Finds himself back on the podium with Mackenzie Stewart down into P4 now, being the front runner of the Hyundai still, surrounded by Mustangs as Jacob is in the background, but Andrew and Brett are coming slowly and surely for this. So, yeah, this could be a very interesting battle now, as Alex is right up the back of Josh. You can see Alex is really pushing him, maybe just pushing him a little bit too hard. He's got a time penalty there for his hard work. So now Mackenzie's having a look. Alex just done a 32.9, Josh has done a 34.2, and Bailey's done a 33.6. So Alex is still the quickest guy out on track at this stage. I don't think anyone further back would have done quicker. So Alex is absolutely flying at the moment. He's got a very light car. He's only got quarter of a tank left in fuel, as Josh has a bit more fuel than what Alex has done. So Josh is a bit more fuel conservative than what Alex is, but Alex has got a lot better tyre wear left than what Josh has. So Josh has pushed, there's contact. Alex has been put into the wall. Jacob comes into pits as he's got absolutely no fuel left. So this could be interesting. How much fuel is he going to put on board? We'll just get a look. See here, it looks like he's fueling right up. Yes, does look to be. I don't get any regulations until he's driven out. Yeah, he's put a full tank of gas back in that car, so that could hurt him just a little bit. Now, you really only want to fuel the car for as long as you can make a stint. So if your tyres are only getting 7 laps, you only need 7 laps of fuel. There's contact into the death chicane. Mackenzie Stewart has gone into the wall there. I don't know who pushed him, whether it was Josh Banks or Alex Little, but there was contact there to put Mackenzie into the wall, so that might be something for the stewards later to have a look at. Is that pick up? Can you take my out from Boston? If you don't mind. So, sorry for that bit of a break, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just organising some tea for myself, as it is currently 5:30 PM over here in Western Australia. Bailey Ford comes in the pits, Alex comes in the pits, Josh comes in the pits, Mackenzie stayed out. So that just goes to show how lean these Hyundais are on the fuel burn. As Andrew's come in now, you can see there on the graph, compared to Bailey, who has 7 litres left, and Andrew has 23 litres left. So a big difference. These guys have all put another full tank of gas in. So obviously Bailey made it to the end of the fuel tank on his tyres, so he would have needed to, but I'm wondering if this is going to help Mackenzie. He's got 11-second gap back to his fellow countryman in Brett Keenan. Does Mackenzie Stewart to a mural, our only Singaporean in the race, but you can see there down the bottom, his front left tyre is absolutely gone. If they did have punches in this game, I reckon that would be close. Bailey's come out in front of everyone again. Jacobs jumped Josh, so that's a bit of news there, as well as Amural's actually slowing, so hopefully Amural doesn't get in the way here of this beautiful fight, as Alex is trying around the outside, but it's going to turn to the inside. So Alex has taken the provisional lead here of this race, as Mackenzie's now in the pit on lap 9. So with that math, Mackenzie will make it to lap 18 and then 27. So it's definitely a 2-stop for Brett and Mackenzie now. Brett's got a little bit more fuel than what Mackenzie has. Alex has just centred up the inside there of Emural. Emural is still out on track. I do not understand this at all. He's got no front left tyre. He'll just be burning time fighting all these guys with fresh tyres on. As Mackenzie comes out 3 seconds, almost 4 seconds now behind Josh. So I don't know if that... he was trying the overcut there. I don't think it's worked as Josh gets around Emural now. As Emural would have no pace through that tunnel just because he can't turn the car. So he's currently got no time penalties, but at the moment he's got no turning in the car. So Alex Little now holds the lead of this Grand Prix and the fastest lap, but you're not awarded any points for the fastest lap in this sort of race. So fastest laps don't matter a thing at the moment, but to take the lead of the race, I was about to say Grand Prix, is a very good feat here. Almost halfway through, 3 laps to go before we hit halfway point. Bailey Ford in P2. Now there was a good battle here between Todd and Josh. Now remember, Josh led the first 4 or 5 laps here, so Josh has got a bit of pace here in the Mustang. It is Mustang v Mustang v Mustang v Mustang. So that's 4 Mustangs at the front as Todd goes very wide at the hairpin. Very deep. Very deep there into the hairpin and outbraked himself. So Alex pulls a bit of a gap of almost 4 tenths on Bailey. Bailey's got 1.8 seconds on Josh. As Josh actually got a 4-second penalty, so that might have been a bump and run sort of thing there for Josh. So he'll need to burn that penalty and try and stay up with Jacob. And then you got Mackenzie further back, 4.5 seconds further back, and his teammate Andrew is 7 seconds further back, but almost 14 seconds off the lead. So from what Andrew was saying there pre-qualifying, it looked to be a bit close in race pace, but at this stage it doesn't seem to be. Brett's absolutely lagging everything. He was wall riding that wall, so Brett's got 2 Mustangs up his backside for good luck of Harry in P8, Sebastian down in P9, which won't be the race that he was hoping for after such strong qualifying. It's even strong just to get into the top 5 shootout with this field, so he can hold his head high there for a moment. You got Nate Smith bringing up the rear of the field, 54 seconds off the pace. He's just pitted by the look of it a couple of laps ago. So Jordan Dittmer in P12 to be second from the rear. So he's not having the race he would have wanted. It's not his most favourite game, but he does have a lot of fun driving it. So we'll go back to the front because we got... so Josh has now got back around Andrew, but he's still got that 3.8 second penalty to burn, which you can burn by just going through the corners that incy-bincy slower than what the game thinks is viable. So whereas in the manufacturer and the FIA races you can't do that. They've got a designated spot, which is absolutely terrible because it ends up costing you twice as much time as what you had. So we'll go to the front now because there's a bit of battle here. Bailey Ford is only 0.4 of a second off, but Bailey's got a 0.4 of a second penalty, whereas Alex doesn't have any. So now Bailey's doing, Bailey's doing 32. Well, he's just done his personal best on lap 10 with a 32.2. Just done a 32.4 there following, whereas Alex done a 32.6 that lap. So Bailey caught up by 0.2 of a second. Josh Banks done a 34.5, so his time's really died off. Jacob's done a 35.6. Mackenzie's into the 33.3s, and Andrew's into the 33.7s. 33.6, 33.7, so he's pretty consistent now on his new set of tyres. which might be key, but he needs to bring that up by at least a second, as we've got a good battle here for the lead. It's only 7/100ths of a second. Bailey on the outside now is not where you'd want to be. Early braking from Bailey, try and get back on the racing line. It's worked for him. Alex has got no penalties. Bailey's got that 0.4 of a second. So very good racing here. Maybe Alex just gets a bit of a slower exit out of the hairpin there and allows Bailey a good run up the long back straight up the hill, and with a bit of slipstream he'll be benefiting from that as well. So Bailey does a 32.9, whereas Alex done a 32.8, so they're pretty much on pace there. Not a lot between them. Josh Banks has still got that penalty of 3.8 seconds, so he's not burning it at all, but he's got Jacob right behind him, so we'll stay with this lead battle at the moment. We'll just try and catch where Bailey is quicker now. Bailey's tyres are going a lot quicker than what Alex's is. Alex does a few other league races on Gran Turismo as well, so he will know how to keep control of his tyres a bit better than what Bailey will. Bailey's main game is F1 2019 at the moment, and tune in tomorrow morning for another great F1 race, and hopefully Bailey can have his main competitor of John Lindenberg join that race tomorrow morning and put up a fight for the championship. But here we go. Alex Bailey now on the inside. He's learnt from last lap. He'll push Alex to the outside now. They're side by side. There's no contact, so beautiful racing by these two. There is a bit of desync there through the server, but Bailey has made the position stick. So Bailey now takes the lead of the race from Alex, but as I was just saying, Alex has got a lot less tyre wear than what Bailey has, so Alex might be able to push for one more lap. Now remember, these guys come in at lap 8, well, Alex at lap 8, Bailey at lap 8 as well. So that could be the telling point. Lap 8, lap 16, lap 20, what's that, 24. So they'll, at that pace, they will need to make a 3-stop, which will put Mackenzie Stewart back in the game. Because you can see there it's a 20-second gap, and Mackenzie's only 8 seconds off the lead. So if these guys don't start saving tyres and trying to fuel save, they're going to be in danger of needing to make that extra stop. So they're going to need to stretch out this stint and the following stint as well. So as Jacob's already in pits with 12 laps to go, so he's definitely on a 3-stop. Pitted lap 7 last time, so that's definitely a 3-stop for Jacob. So maybe, and Harry as well. So when did he pit? He pitted lap 8, so he's coming a lap earlier, but that's definitely going to make him pit again for another lap. So that is unfortunate there for those guys. They've really just outrun themselves. So and you can see here Alex isn't letting the rev limiter touch and bounce off the rev limiter, whereas Bailey will get a view here coming into turn 1. No, Bailey's shifting early as well, just to save that little bit of fuel. It might almost be time to just concede P2 at this stage, and try and keep up with Alex, but try and save as much fuel as he can, as those front tyres have lost grip, whereas Alex's are still virtually brand new. Alex has done a 34.6, a 34 flat, a 32.8, 32.6, 32 flat, and then a 32.7 as his outlappers. Alex is now in pits as well. So this could be a telling point for Alex. I thought Alex would have been the one to go that few extra laps and get on to a 2-stop strategy with Stuart Mackenzie, because I don't think Bailey or Josh will be able to do it. So where is Mackenzie Ford pitted Well, it's saying here, lap 8 and lap 10, but that's not right. So this is why I really need to concentrate on who's doing what with pit strategies. But I'm just calling it as I'm seeing it. Josh Banks has got Mackenzie Stewart right up his tailpipe now, for good measure. So this could cost Mackenzie a bit of time. Josh just hasn't seemed to have the pace at this stage. Josh's laps are 34.6, 33.9, 34 flat, 34.5, 34.5, 33.7. So he's consistent at the best of the 34s. But he is losing time to Bailey, so that could hurt him. Mackenzie's a 33 pretty consistently as well, so Mackenzie's caught up. Andrew's a 34s, that was his first 35. So his tyres are just starting to go now. Alex now on the fresh set of tyres. What can he do? He's got to catch Andrew and Mackenzie on this stint and pull a long gap as Josh is now in the pits. Bailey's in the pits. Will he get 10 laps out of a fuel tank is the main talking point now. As who's in the background coming out? That is Nate or Don Van Zito. I'll just call him Don for now until I get confirmation of his real name. If anybody watching, if Mike is still watching, maybe he can compromise that with the YouTube comments there, if it is Nate Smith or it is something else for Don Van Zito's real name. So Sebastian's in the pits as well. Alex has put himself up to P3 now. He's clearly jumped Bailey. Todd's got in front of Josh in that undercut as well. So so Mike has said it's Nate, so I was right there with Nate Smith. So Mackenzie Stewart now with a 1.1 second penalty, but he's near on 11 seconds up the road from his teammate. And welcome, Nate, to the stream. I see you joined and exited the lobby there a couple of times. I'm not sure if you're due to be racing in the main game or in Super 2. I do think you're in the main game, so with 9 laps left and then we get on to race 2, you might be able to make race 2, mate, if you wish to do so. As Mackenzie Stewart is now in the pits with 1 litre of fuel left, lap 17. He will get 9 laps out of this fuel stint, so that's his fuel stint done. Andrew's in the pits as well. How much fuel did he have left? 3%. So these top 2, top 3, top 4, I'm not certain on will make the finishing flag on this fuel load, whereas Mackenzie will. So unless the top 4 have gone into a leaner engine mix and really start to save fuel, I just can't see them making it to the end personally. And I hope guys are watching this and realising it's not all about outline pace on Gran Turismo. Fuel strategy does come into it. If you can just save that little bit of fuel per stint, you won't need to add as much fuel at the end of the race to get that final stint home and hose. So fuel burn does come massively into it, which is where a lot of people are struggling at the moment. It seems, I could be wrong, I have been wrong before. Ask my wife, I'm usually wrong at least once a day, as are most married men or even men in partnerships. So what have we got going? We got a mural getting attacked here by Sebastian, getting attacked by Andrew, by Brett, by Harry. So we got a bit of a train here. It's someone's into the wall. That looked like Brett. Harry's on the outside. It's Nate Punkett, not Nate Smith. So sorry for that, Nate, and thank you for that, Mike, for clearing that up. I can't remember where I got Nate Smith from. So there you go. I've been calling his first name right, but his last name wrong. So Alex coming up into the final sector now. I'm still a bit iffy on these guys. I know Bailey won't make it to the end on his fuel load. So he's going to need to pit again. He'll probably pit, I'd say lap, you'd really want to go lap 20, maybe 21, get the best out of your new set of tyres. No point running these tyres till they die and then doing a quick stint on a fresh set with low fuel. So you might as well sacrifice a time somewhere, as Nate Punkett is about to get lapped. No, Jordan's already been lapped. Nate's getting the blue flags here, so this is a good thing with Gran Turismo. They do come up on my screen and on theirs for the blue flags, so they have no reason not to get out of the way, but I do believe they ghost anyway to get out of the leader's way, as you can't really turn ghosting off on Gran Turismo, but it didn't look like Nate's car did there, so good driving there, good track awareness there to get out of the way from Alex, and let him and Bailey here fight for the lead. As Mackenzie Stewart just comes back into pits now, is this a strategy call? He's put fresh tyres on, he's put a full tank of fuel in as well. Not quite a full tank of fuel, so he wasn't quite certain on making it to the end with his fuel strategy, but he is now. Sebastian Spice has worked his way up to P6, but he's got a pit again as well. A Mural's in the pits now. He will definitely make it to the end after this pit stop. Now he pitted lap 9. Don't take any notice of the 13 and 15 laps. He did pit lap 9 because he waited very late to do the one stop, so it's a good strategy call, but it hasn't worked out for him here today, unfortunately. So back at the front, Alex is just starting to run away here. 1.2 second gap on Bailey, and you can see he's got near on an eighth of a tank more gas than what Bailey's got. So if Alex can't make it to the end on the fuel Bailey's got no chance. Jacob's got no chance. Josh is looking the best at the moment with half a tank to go. If he's in engine mix, maybe 3, and just short shifts, he won't lose too much time. And he's got 19 seconds on Mackenzie, who will be in rich mix, redlining everything. So if he can just balance that gap back, as Mackenzie's got Sebastian up his, as Sebastian trying to close up on Mackenzie, but Sebastian's got Brett up his gearbox as well, so this could be a very close range. Andrew has not had the first race of his season that he would have wanted, neither Harry. A Mural, it's about where we would expect him, maybe a little bit higher up, but from the guys in front of him, he's got one lap pace, but he doesn't seem to have the racecraft, which is unfortunate to say, because he has been on the podium in the F1 games a couple of times there. So Ramiro at the moment not having the first race, race 1, round 1 either, as the two leaders are in the pits on the same lap. So as I called it, coming in with about 5-6 laps to go, what's Todd going to do? He's going to have to come into pits as well. So Todd's in the pits. What's Josh doing? He's in the pits. Now Josh won't have to be stopped for as long as the rest of the guys, but Mackenzie Stewart will be the first one from where he stands to be able to make it home. So as Bailey and Alex are already on track, so Mackenzie won't jump those two, but he might. Well, he hasn't jumped Josh either, so Josh with the undercut with the saving fuel has really helped there from Todd. Todd's lost all the way out down to P6 at the moment as Brett's in the pits, but he had almost half a tank as well, so he won't need to be stationary for as long. Whereas Harry's burnt all of his fuel, he's going to need to put in another full tank of gas. So that's where it's costing people at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Take notes. And if any of the drivers go back and watch this throughout the week to see where you can better yourselves and better your strategies, right there is where I would recommend. And you see there, Josh is revving the living guts out of this car. He's probably safe on fuel now, so he can. So at the start of the race, and you know, to get your fuel burns underway, I'll just give you a little bit of a hint. As I've done a lot of the manufacturer racing when this game first come out, is you don't change your engine mix as much. You just really short shift on your gears. So short shift, you see that little grey dot where the centre of the steering dot is, you know, really short shift about there-ish where Josh is now, to not lose time but to save fuel. Now, you know, we might be talking 1 or 2 laps per stint, but on this, it's, you know, this could have saved them all from doing that third pit stop. Especially Alex. Now, Alex would have known this already, being a very frequent player of Gran Turismo. So Alex probably already knows that little trick. Rather than turning the engine down, just to short shift each gear. As you can see there, he's still doing it. He's not revving the car out as much. We'll watch how Bailey takes this final sector if he redlines this. So he's not redlining it as much as what Josh does. Josh lets it pretty much hit the limiter and then changes gear. So that's where it's all coming down to fuel saving. And, you know, if everyone does that, it could take it from a 3-stop to a push 2-stop. You know, a 3-stop could be the alternate strategy, you know, fresh tyres all the time. Because as you can see there, tyre wear is a big part of this game as well. So tyre wear, keeping your tyres alive like Alex does, and keeping your fuel to a minimal burn could really help you out. So if anyone watches this back, it's just a little hint there. And I know we've still got 8 viewers viewing, and if you're in the Super 2 category, or you wish to race in this league, I'll get Brett to put a link in the comments later on for anyone wishing to, or we will put a link in the comments later on for anyone wishing to join this or the F1 categories starting up. I think we got evaluations the 7th of January, so sign up now to get your evaluation seat sorted, so we can sort your pace and put you into a tier that you will be comfortable racing in. So at the moment, Alex has got a comfortable lead of almost 4 seconds, just done a 31.9 to do his personal best. Not quite as quick as Bailey's personal best yet, but Bailey done a 32.2, so he lost 0.3 of a second there. Bailey's got a comfortable lead back to Josh Banks of 11 seconds. Josh is 15 seconds off the leader at the moment. His PB is a 32.2. Mackenzie Stewart is 6.5 seconds behind Josh, but Mackenzie's got more of an issue of Jacob up behind him now. I can't actually see Mackenzie's fastest lap. I could if I do this. So Mackenzie's fastest lap is a 32.5, and then you got Jacobs with a 32.4, Amazing with a 33.3, Sebastian with a 33.6, Brett with a 33.1. So Brett could be a little bit higher up on his quickest lap pace. Amira with a 34 flat, Harry with a 33.3, Ken with a 33.3, Nate with a 34.4, and Jordan with a 36 flat. So there you have it. So now Jacob Todd is right on the back of Mackenzie, and yet again could Mackenzie see a position drop due to penalties with 2 laps left. I do believe the leaders have just started the 24th lap, 25th lap, sorry, it goes on by what car I'm viewing. So with 2 laps to run, Mackenzie is in danger of losing a position to yet again another race of penalties. And anyone who watches my F1 commentating on Sunday mornings will get that reference. I'm not going to go into it. So Alex has pulled a big gap now on Bailey of 5 seconds. So where did Bailey... a 32.6 to a 32.2, so he lost 0.4 of a second there on lap 24. So Alex now has got a comfortable win up his belt, unless if he does something silly. Tyre wear isn't an issue for either of the boys, and they get live timing gaps as well. So with almost just a lap to go, you'd think they'd start to just cool it off. Bailey's got a massive gap behind him. He's not going to catch Alex. Maybe just save the car a little bit for race 2. Now, at this stage, race 2, Jordan will be P1 if Sebastian set this up right. Jordan should start P1 with Nate P2. To take the front of the second race here, but Alex at the moment on his final lap, coming into the hairpin for the final time. He's got his fuel light flashing, but he would have calibrated this to do the amount of laps required. Getting very hot there on the front brakes, as you can see in the Mustang. A very full drive from Alex today. He's just kept it clean, and he had that big incident with Sebastian there at the start, dropped him all the way down to P7, and he's worked his way back up to the front, and not only to the front to be challenging for the win, but he's absolutely dropped Bailey in this final stint by 5 seconds. So as he's about to come and get a lap on Jordan now, again I do believe. So Jordan goes very wide there, just wall rides the wall to get out of Alex's way. So that's great racing craft there by Jordan. Probably didn't have to do it that way, but Alex coming around to the final corner now. Still not quite yet out of fuel, but the Mustang would almost be smelling fumes as comes across the line to take the first win of the Trans Nations Esports Supercar. Round 1, race 1, Bailey to take P2. Josh Banks will come home in P3, even despite him getting a 3.5 second penalty. Now, if he just backs off here, he will burn that penalty, but that's not happening. He's going to take the penalty home with him as Jacob actually gets around Mackenzie Stewart there for P4. So Jacob to take P4, Mackenzie Stewart to come home in P5 with just enough fuel left in that car. So maybe that ran out of fuel there at the end. Andrew Lee to come home at P6. Now, he will be starting mid-pack again for race 2, which will be coming up in 5 minutes. Just a short interval here for us today. Sebastian Spicer to come home P7. Brett Keenan, our reigning Supercars champion at the moment. Not the first race he would have been hoping for. Hopefully takes something out of it. I will get a few of these guys unmuted. Amural to come home P9. Harry to come home P10. And Ken Doyle is our final finisher to come home P11. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I will just unmute our top 3 and get a quick post-race talk with them. If any of them actually have me still unmuted. So Josh can't speak. Okay, so we might as well mute Josh again. We'll leave him with it. It is 11 o'clock over there, so that's understandable with Josh. Bailey, are you there?
here.
Bailey, mate, P2 after that, not the start you would have wanted. Looks like you just got a massive step of wheel spin. Battling Alex there for the first couple of laps. Just talk us through that initial off the line first, if you would, please.
Yeah, as you said, I got a lot of wheel spin and I just compromised me on the lead up to turn one. I fell back quite a bit, battling with, as you said again, Mackenzie and Alex, but I think I brought it back up to P2, and I don't know, it could be a couple of post-race investigations. You might have caught what happened with Seb and Alex there, so we'll have to dive further in that. But either way, P2 or P1, I'd be happy with it. It's a good first race.
Yeah, so, and then I was interested in fuel strategy there. I did mention it a couple of times. Mackenzie would have got a two-stop done, I do believe, if he stretched that middle stint just that extra lap. Were you ever thinking of a two-stop, or was that always a three-stop strategy for the Fords?
At first, I guess you could say we thought of a two-stop, but as the race went on, we realised that the fuel kept burning and everything, so yeah, I think we just thought, go out guns blazing and stuff like that, and then make it a three-stop, so no, it worked out alright in that. We ended up beating the Hyundais by a good margin, so yeah, we'll see how we go in the second race.
Yeah, and starting on the last row of the grid, at least you'll only have one spot to drop if you get a terrible start this time. Is it pretty easy to get through the grid, through the pack around here? It looks pretty tight through sector 1, but that hairpin is definitely a good corner to make a late dive.
Yeah, as you said, everywhere else is pretty difficult. Like, you don't really want to be overtaken at the chicane at the back of the track and all that. But yeah, the hairpin's probably the best chance you got in the slipstream with the straight. But everyone's going to be a massive snail train at the start. So yeah, everyone's going to be towing each other along. But hopefully we can make it a few positions. So we go.
Okay, so we'll leave it there, mate. We'll let you get back into your party. If you're talking to your teammate, and we will get Alex Little. Alex, are you there, mate? Alex, have you got me there, Chief? So I've just put in there a comment. Hopefully Alex is at his PlayStation and you can see that pretty quickly. You see Mike. I forgot your last name, Mike. If you can just let us know there in the YouTube comments. I will get to talk to a few of the other guys. But we're just waiting for Alex to... Oh, he's gone at the moment. So we won't talk to Alex. We'll get Brett in the combox and get his thoughts of the race. Are you there, Brett? Yeah, not the first race you would have been hoping for, mate. The race for the title defence. Just looked like you weren't quite front running pace there.
Still early days, Mark. I mean, the car was fine. It was just getting through all the everyone was just kind of fighting for sheep stations at the start, so it wasn't easy to kind of manage it through. Qualifying was an absolute shocker, so I can't deny that we need a bit of work in the kind of the last minute heats. Kind of made a mistake on the last run, so it didn't give me any. Didn't do me any favours. I think we have the pace of the front runners. It's just, once you lose a little bit of time on this track, it's kind of hard to get it back. And those Mustangs, they're always making at least 18th on those back straight. So it's very hard to kind of battle them at the moment. Strategy-wise, it's kind of interesting actually. Just looking at the fact that Mustangs can only 3-stop. Well, they have to kind of 3-stop. The Hyundais can We can two-stop, but it does require a bit of fuel conservation, which isn't too bad, but yeah, just gotta express an apology to Andrew for what happened at the hairpin. It was just, he was ghosting, I got on the brake, and then he stopped ghosting, and yeah, there was just nowhere else to go from that, so... Good battles though, good battle with Seb and all that, so yeah, I think reverse grid's going to be the...
Yeah, so awesome battle throughout the grid, throughout the entire field, so the front guys, really had a good battle. I caught a little bit of the background, I was just trying to concentrate on the front, as you would, but so early days still, your Hyundais do look stronger on the fuel, so maybe future races you might be able to do something there with a bit of fuel saving.
Well, I think the next few races are going to probably be not in our favour so much, but it's we'll do what we can. Gardens is a personal favourite. Of course, we've still got one race to go, so I shouldn't really be talking about Gardens, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what the reverse grid's going to be like, because you do have a few people that are a little bit out of kilter. You've got Harry in amongst it, you've got Seb in amongst it, you've got myself in amongst it, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the top five from the previous results are going to go through the field. But I think this previous race has been good for the strategy. It just kind of helps you understand how much you can push, where you need to conserve and that kind of stuff. And I think I used probably half of the reason my pace wasn't as glorious was because I was experimenting a little bit in the race to kind of find the perfect rhythm for the second race, which was only a half points. So shit happens, but we'll regroup at the end of the weekend and see where we went wrong and hopefully come back stronger.
Yep. Okay, so we'll leave it there, Brett. A mural wants me to entertain the viewers by singing. I don't really feel like strangling cats at the moment, a mural, so I probably won't do that. But what I will do, I will get... Who do I want to get? I will get Mackenzie's point of view. Mackenzie, have we got you there, Chief? P5 in the end, I do believe. I didn't quite catch the overtake there that Jacob did on you. Looked like to be up the back straight, maybe coming up the hill. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to ask you, Mackenzie, I thought you were definite on a two-stop compared to the Mustangs. That final pit stop really threw me. Were you not confident in making that second tank of fuel lasting? Yeah, something crazy, yep. Yeah, I've just had a YouTube comment here. Actually, Mackenzie, they can't hear you on the stream, so maybe just check your voice parameters there throughout the time. So yeah, that's just a view of what I've been told. I thought I'd let you know just in case you guest commentate somewhere tomorrow morning. So, alrighty, mate. Yeah, so I'll yeah. Alrighty, mate. I'll leave you to it, and race 2 is about to start, so you can talk strategy with your teammate, mate. Thanks again for joining us, and yeah, hopefully talk you on the podium in the second race. So with the race about to start, we might try and get who do we want to get, ladies and gentlemen? Who? We'll get Sebastian. Are you there, Seb? No, Seb's not there. So unfortunately, I was hoping to get Seb's opinion on what happened there at the hairpin, but he's obviously still got me muted. So that will be, I'm assuming it will be a post-race incident, and maybe even something to come out of that. So we've had the 5-minute warning come up. Hopefully Ken Doyle's just left the room, so unfortunate with that. Well, I think we are just waiting on Alex, who's still AFK. So hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we get underway here for race 2. Reverse grid. So Jordan should be pole. Now I don't actually know Jacob's actually playing silly buggers here with us, so let's have a bit of fun with Jacob here. So let's go so there we go. We'll just put Jacob. So Jacob, Todd and I are just having a bit of banter there, and Brett actually chose to join in, so we might try and get Harry in and see what his thoughts were there of the race. Actually, I know who we'll get Andrew. Mr. Andrew Lee, have you got me?
Yeah, I've got you, Mark. I can hear.
Yeah, mate, not the first race you would have been hoping for there, mate. You missed out on the top 5 qualifying. Did you just leave it a bit late there, maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't really ideal. There's got a real good start and was up with my teammate for the first couple of laps, but then just a slight bit of contact with with Bailey, just put me on the back foot a little bit, and really just couldn't recover from there. Started to make up a little bit of ground, but then, as Brett said probably about 5 minutes ago or something, just a little bit of contact between us two down at the hairpin really put me on the back foot even more, and had to make another pit stop, which kind of made things even harder. Considering everything that went on, I'll take a P6 in the first race. It's a solid result for the team, so hopefully we can just build off that and keep moving forward.
So starting mid-pack again for race 2, reverse grid. You got any worries about that, starting in the middle?
No, not really. I was able to survive race 1, so hopefully I can do it again. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, hopefully we can all get through unscathed, but we'll see.
Alright, mate. Well, I hope to see you at the front of the pointy end this race, buddy, and yeah, have a good race, and we'll talk to you afterwards if you do wish to. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've heard from Andrew. I don't actually know how long we've got. Actually, Jacob was... We'll try and talk to Jacob, eh? He wishes to have a word or two. So, where are you, Jacob? There you are, Jacob. Jacob, have you got me, Chief?
Yeah, mate, I can hear you.
Yeah, so, great first race, mate, P4. To put the Mustangs 1, 2, 3, 4. Talk us through that quickly there, Chief.
Yeah, I really don't know. I just had a good start, you know, made up a few positions on the first lap, and then from there I just pushed as hard as I could, went for the 3-stop, which seemed to work. Just pushed flat out the whole race, and it was all good.
Yeah, I've from sitting here, I think the Mustangs need to do a 3-stop, but strategy can play a big part here, because the Hyundais are very light on their fuel, and if they do a bit of fuel saving, they could definitely go with the 2-stop. So does that worry you at all?
Yeah, a little bit. It does a little bit, I suppose. You know, we just got to make do with what we've got.
Yeah. So I've just heard that we're about to start, mate, so I'll let you get ready for race 2, and yeah, hopefully to see you at the front again. Thank you. And I'm just quickly trying to get this muted again here before the final starts. So this is race 2. Big Mike has said stop talking. No, Big Mike, I want to keep talking. So here we go, race 2. Big Mike at the front of the field due to he not actually racing in race 1. Jordan Dittmer in P2. Nate Punkett in P3. Ken Doyle P4. Harry in P5. Emil P6. Brett P7, Sebastian P8. We got 3 red lights, ladies and gentlemen, and the way we go, Mike has got an absolute launch off the line there. Jordan's held P2, Nate's held P3. Emil is a big gainer here. The first of the Hyundais to make it a P3. Oh, he's just pushed Mike into the wall, so that might be a bit of calamity there as he takes the lead of the race. But now Mike's getting back at him. Mike's actually spun around, so that is a big loss there for Mike. He's only race of the night and he's been spun around, so that is massively unfortunate there. Emil is now P1, Jordan's P2, as Harry's looking at the inside of Jordan. Jordan's left the door open, to be fair. Mackenzie Stewart's already up into the podium paying positions in P3. So Mackenzie Stewart now up to P3. Jordan back down to P4 after starting P2. Brett Keenan now is in P5. Jacob up to P6. We just heard from him, hoping to get a good start. Bailey Ford up to P7. Sebastian Spicer in P8. I think that's a drop of a position for Sebastian. Nate Punkett in P9. Josh Banks P10. So that's a bit of a gain there for him. Ken Doyle in P11. Andrew Lee down into P12. That must have been another incident there. So yet again a lap 1 incident has not made his race, but he'll be one to push through it and survive. And if he can do a bit of fuel saving, he could play his way back into this. Seems we just saw 3 stops from everyone. Andrew could play a 2-stopper and get himself right back into it. Alex has actually left the room after missing out on the start of this race. So that is unfortunate there for Alex, coming in with a strong victory in race 1. So at the moment we got Harry at the top of the tables. No, we don't. Mackenzie Stewart's made a dive down into the hairpin. Harry's gone into the inside, but Mackenzie's left the door open. The Mustang has got very good straight line. He's just got a bit taily, so has that cost Harry just a bit of time there? You see in the long shot, Bailey and Jacob are fighting side by side coming up. Very 2 beautiful looking Mustangs, I must admit. Bailey now has the position according to the timing charts. as he's just moved now in front. Jacob's pulled out of that as Harry's now on the outside line, and Mackenzie Stewart and Mule is trying very feisty to get into this fight as well. There in the background, looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right. He doesn't know where to go. Bailey's now into P3. He's got Harry in front of him. Oh, there's a bit of contact, is there? Harry's been spun, maybe. No, Harry's kept it, Bailey's kept it, and Mule's kept it. So Bailey has actually dropped back to P5. So Bailey got a bit of contact. I don't know, I thought Bailey made the contact there on Harry, but maybe Jacob just pushed Bailey as well. So that's let Mackenzie Stewart kind of run away with this race. But the Ford Mustangs with their straight line speed, as we heard from Mackenzie himself, as soon as he got out of slipstream, he seemed to lose the Mustangs over a stint. So Jacob could definitely catch this back up. So could Harry, actually. Not a great first race from the young, I want to say New South Walesman, but don't quote me on that. Actually, he's Tasmanian, to tell the truth, so he's probably got 2 heads and 12 toes, that being an Australian joke. A Mule in P4, holding down a strong position at the moment, the one and only driver to do a 2-stop that I saw. So you can see this massive train of 3, 4, 5, 6 are all there. Harry's on the outside of Bailey, so that's cost Harry there. Now Harry's been overtaken now by Brett. Can Brett keep the position into the turning aspect? He does. So very good driving there, as Todd's already caught up a couple of tenths of a second on his good mate there of Mackenzie Stewart. A Mule still holding P3 from Bailey Ford now. This will be any time now that Bailey will get this job done, but a Mule's not the easiest of to be driving in front of. As I've just said, he's got great one-lap pace, but I don't know if it's lag or desync or something with his connection, but he just seems to rear end a lot of people and cause a lot of incidents. So he's still holding P3. He's a Mule, but Bailey Ford now right behind him, only 2 tenths of a second. So Bailey goes to the inside of the hairpin. He's got Brett right behind his rear wing. So Bailey's gone wide. There's 3 wide into the hairpin. Brett's made the position stick. Just escorted Bailey wide. I don't think there was any contact. According to the game, there was. So that's unfortunate for Brett, but the straight line speed of the Mustang just gives Bailey the position back. So that's great battling there by Brett and Bailey. So now what can the Hyundai do under slipstream, as the Mustang just gets a little tail there coming through the tunnel, just slightly hit the wall. These guys have got to watch out for Harry. Harry's making a dive on the inside on a Mule. He's just backed out of that. And he's got Sebastian and Josh coming up behind him. Josh and Sebastian, I should say, coming up behind him. So this train from P3 all the way back to P8 at the moment. Josh Banks actually does the quickest lap at the moment of a 32.7. So Jacob now has the lead. So you've just seen there outright pace of the Mustang. Sorry, I'll spit out my words. Over the Hyundai. Hyundai's got them through here at Sector 1 and possibly a little bit in Sector 2, but the most time gained is out of here into, out of the hairpin. If they can get a good exit at the hairpin, get the power down, the Mustang can just pull a big gap coming up this straight. The only way the Hyundais can hold on to it is by slipstream, so which isn't as big as what you'd think here on Gran Turismo, but it is a factor. It is set to realism, so if they get slipstream, it's set to their realism settings. So a real still P5. Harry has got Josh and Sebastian here hassling him for P6. So they're not going to go 3 wide through here, surely not. Will they go 3 wide into this breaking point up the hill? No, but Mule's Oh, I thought a mule was all over the road there. So a mule's trying to defend from 3 guys that are trying to battle each other. And all being in the same car, they've all got the same strengths and weaknesses. It comes down to driver, how big the driver elbows really are. As still Bailey's got the Josh has got the best laps. Sorry, Bailey's just done a 32.9. Mackenzie done a 34.2. So they've Bailey's and Toddy's Jacob's done a 33.8. So Bailey on that lap has pulled in a second on the front two. Brett done a 34.4. Harry done a 36.1. Mule done a 36 flat. Mule now has Josh and Sebastian. Josh goes for the dive up the inside of the hairpin. There's 3 wide coming out of the hairpin. Mule gets a massive tank slapper. There's contact. Oh no, Seb's absolutely beaten bullied out of that. Nothing out of Seb's wrongdoing there, but Mule got punted sideways from Josh, giving him a love tap. So the contact physics in this game are a little bit silly to describe it the best, which does encourage clean racing, but it doesn't always happen. And with a bit of decent that we've got at the moment, you can just see what's happening. So Bailey's caught right up now. He's only 1.5 seconds behind Mackenzie, who's only half a second behind Jacob. So Brett's falling off of Bailey, so he's out of slipstream range now, doing 34s, where Bailey's doing 33s. Mackenzie's doing a 34, Jacob's doing a 34, Mike's doing a 40. He's still yet to cross the line to set that lap, but I'm assuming that'll be a slow one. Jordan's done a 35 to be his best, a 47 last lap. Ken to do 35s, 36s. Nate Punkett to do 37s. Andrew to be doing 34, so Andrew not having the best start of this race either. But back up the front now, Toddy, Brett, Mackenzie, Harry, Josh have all pitted. So Bailey now takes the lead. Now he's got a lot of fuel left, so with Todd doing that, he's actually been jumped by Mackenzie. So Mackenzie's pit crew have had a beautiful pit stop there, or Todd lost the position as I was focusing on the back half, but you know Todd can just catch that gap straight back up. So Mackenzie's got Ken Doyle right in front of him on old tyres with lighter fuel. So Ken doesn't fight that position. Probably smart there from Ken, knowing he's not really in the lead. He's battling at the moment, but he was within his right to hold the position. So Bailey's got his fuel light on. 8 laps into it. It still only takes him to lap 24. He really needed to get 9 laps each, which will take you 18, 26, 27 laps. So 9 laps is the magic number to make a 2-stop. Bailey's very deep into the pit entrance. Can Sebastian make that a little bit better? And a mural is going to go one more lap, I do believe. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. So a mural in the pit as well. So where's Bailey going to come out? Andrew is now taking the lead of this race, but I can't actually view his car. So that's strange. There we go. So Andrew's got the lead by 7 seconds over his teammate Mackenzie Stewart, who's absolutely been trampled by Jacob here. Jacob's on the inside, coming up this main back straight, coming into the tunnel section. Job done before the only cornering part of the section. So that just shows how quick this Mustang is with a bit of slipstream. There's no DRS in this form of motorsport, so it's all slipstream, straight line speed. So now Mackenzie's just got to keep it. But I do believe they both committed to a 3-stop strategy, so that could be interesting. He's got to go 10 laps at one stint, which I don't. Yeah, probably won't do it. So Bailey, Brett, Ken, Harry are all on the 3-stop as well. Josh will be on a 3-stop. Sebastian will be on a 3-stop. Ramiro will be the only one. Well, he hasn't even made a 2-stop work this time round. So I do believe everyone on a 3-stop strategy. Andrew will be the only one that could pull off a 2-stop. But if he holds this stint as long as he can better himself at the end of the race. He won't need to put as much fuel in. If he stretches out this stint and the next stint, he'll need to put even less fuel in at the end, and really make up a few spots from lack of stationary time in the pit lane, as we've got Ken Doyle in the pits now, so he could possibly go to a 2-stop as well from the Hyundais. So yet again, the Hyundais have got the strategy over the Mustangs. So that is, Ken just comes out behind Jordan, so that won't be too bad for Ken. He can just take care of those tyres and let Jordan possibly pull him along. Now Andrew's got the fuel light on, so he'll need to box this lap, but to do 9 flying laps on your tyres in your fuel load will give you a comfortable 2-stop strategy with 1 lap left of fuel, so you can underfuel your car just that little bit on your final stop. Now he has lost a lot of time from the front, the provisional front two in Mackenzie and Todd. They were 7 seconds behind when Jacob took the lead, so he has lost 5 seconds of the gap by doing this longest fuel strategy. But if he can make that time up now with fresher tyres, it'll be a heavier car again compared to everybody else, but he'll have the youngest tyres on the field, or in the field. So now is the time for Andrew to really make this strategy work. Is Bailey still posting fastest, or Bailey's still got the fastest lap? He's just set the fastest lap there on his last lap, so Bailey's absolutely flying now. Mackenzie and Jacob are, excuse me ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie and Jacob are still battling here. Mackenzie gets a really good run into the death chicane, or the chicane of death as we are calling it here at Trans Nations Esports, just because those sausage curbs can absolutely kill you, as we saw in the first race with Alex and Sebastian. I don't know if that was the case or there was a bit of body contact somewhere that we didn't actually catch. So good three-way fight here for P1 at the moment. Bailey's pulled himself into this. Oh, Jacob goes very wide there into the S's. Just got onto the dirty part of the track, and Gran Turismo's racing line physics really don't pay to go off the racing line. So if you can keep it on the racing line and go slightly outside, you'll get the job done. But into the hairpin, later on the brakes, you can see they've all gone a bit deep, but Bailey's got a better exit out of there. So now Bailey with the straight line speed behind Mackenzie. The only thing that won't make this as easy as it was for Jacob is Mackenzie's got the slipstream from Jacob, so effectively net gain back to zero for Bailey, because the Hyundai will be just as quick since it's got slipstream. So Bailey's going to have to do it pure to driving ability, as one of them gets very close to the wall coming into that turn. I think that was Mackenzie Stewart, as Brett Keenan's actually starting to make his way into this group ever so slowly there in P4. So Not the first race he would have been hoping for a long way in the season, but half points allocated here for race 2. So if he can get a good finishing position here at race 2. But saying that, Brett's got Harry and Josh coming up behind him. Seb's really fallen off the back. A mural has fallen absolutely miles off. But Andrew's doing it's a sub 2 minute there lap. No, so a 33.6 there for lap 11. 2 minute for lap 10, but remember he come into pit lap 10. So that was his in lap, in and out lap, effectively, because the pit lane is not on the start finish straight. So Andrew could be working his way in, but it'll take him. Oh, he's 11 seconds behind Sebastian, as Sebastian actually has a spin there at the hairpin, and he's letting Andrew go by the look of it. Oh no, Sebastian's got damage, heavy engine damage there. I don't know if the damage is set to heavy or light. So if that's, it must be light because he's just got full engine back. Mural's got no damage, but he's already been overtaken by Andrew. So Andrew running an absolute riot. He's got 17 seconds to catch up on Josh. Josh, Harry, Brett. Brett's closing in on the front 3. Bailey's got P2 at the moment. But Mackenzie seems to get a better line through these S's in the Hyundai than what the Mustangs do of Bailey and Jacob, as they all just clang the wall there. A bit of follow the leader understeer by the look of that. So now what can Bailey do into the hairpin? He's on the inside of Jacob. He's got the move done. Can he keep the move? He does. He gets a big snap of oversteer. That could help Jacob now. Jacob with the slipstream on the Mustang, so he'll get a quicker slipstream than what Mackenzie would have. He's not neglecting to take it at the moment. He's just pulled back into slipstream now on Bailey Ford to help himself pull away from Mackenzie Stewart, but Mackenzie's now getting a double Mustang tow down this massive back straight up and down the hill, which is where the Hyundai is lacking the straight line speed. So that is what is keeping Mackenzie in this fight at the moment. The second he falls out of slipstream, he will be falling back into the clutches of the guys like Josh Banks, which is the next Mustang behind Brett Keenan, is now falling off the pace again. Toddy's got to pit this lap. He's running out of fuel now. He come in and out on lap 7, so this is exactly his 7 laps on this stint as well, so he'll be a 3-stopper for sure. Be lap 21 for his next pit stop. So what can this do compared to Harry, as Mackenzie goes up the inside to get the first of the pit stops? Are they? They're side by side in the pit stops. Gran Turismo not actually having a pit lane as such, as Brett's come in as well, but you can see Brett's got a bit more fuel than what Toddy's got. Toddy's really burning all of this fuel in the Mustang. Mackenzie's jumped in by an absolute mile here, underfueled the car, which won't get him to the end, but it will get him to his next stint, whereas Jacob's going fuel tank for his stint. So Andrew's now jumped Jacob by 1.6 seconds. It'll be interesting to see how quick Andrew can make that gap up. But Mackenzie's jumped out in front of his teammate by 3.4 by underfueling the car there to get him to his next stint. So he's learnt a bit there from the first race. Bailey now has a 12-second gap back to Josh Banks in a fellow Mustang. and Josh is actually needing to pit this lap. He's got the fuel light on. Bailey will probably get one more lap if he wishes to do so. And he could really put it in lean now. He's 23 seconds up the road from Mackenzie Stewart, which Mackenzie will be doing. Mackenzie will be doing a 3-stop, so he won't be doing any sort of fuel saving, but Bailey's in the pit, so he's not doing any fuel saving either. Josh will have to come in the pits. He's got no fuel left, and his front left isn't really keen on him either. So this will give the provisional lead back to Mackenzie Stewart. I do believe so, but can Andrew Lee jump these two guys in the pits as well? Which will be a great thing. No, he doesn't jump Bailey, but he gets Josh. So that's really hurt Josh at the moment. Sebastian's just come in the pits with a bit more fuel than what Josh has got. So Josh is a bit heavier on his fuel burn than what Seb is. As Nate Punkett comes in the Bosch Mustang. So that's nice to see there by Nate, showing to not rage quit, just have a bit of fun here. So Mackenzie Stewart with a 3-second gap over Bailey Ford at the moment, but he's got Jacob. He's actually jumped Jacob in the pit stops there. Or him and Jacob come in together. So yeah, Bailey jumped Jacob there in the pit stop. No, Bailey come in the lap later. Sorry. So yes, Bailey has jumped Jacob in the pit stop. Andrew is still yet to stop, but when did he stop? Lap 10, so he'll be in lap 20, I would assume. So he'll definitely only the one stop, or lap 18. 9 lap stints, yeah, probably lap 20. Or maybe he might even pit earlier just to put on some fresher rubber. And try and keep up with these guys, but with 4, maybe 5 laps left, he might be racing Jacob here for position, because Jacob pitted lap 14, so he will need to pit lap 21. So Andrew is technically racing Jacob for position on track at the moment, so Andrew is technically P4, as everyone else behind him still needs to make their 3rd pit stop, and everyone else in front of him still needs to make his 3rd pit stop. So Andrew's played himself in massively here with the fuel strategy of just saving a bit of fuel here and there, and really making his fuel tank last the distance. So Bailey's caught up to Mackenzie by 9/10 of a second. We'll see what he does on this lap. A 32.2 to Mackenzie's 32.9. So 7/10 of a second is the difference between the two cars. Their driving styles aren't really a factor here at this stage. I do just believe it's a Mustang straight line speed down that massive back straight. Now I keep calling it a massive back straight because it is that. We'll try and get a gauge here on how long it is while they are on full power. So we'll try and get a guide here. I'll just stay on board Mackenzie now. There is a little odometer there under his fuel gauge. Now that started at 0.3. So, or 0.4, sorry, it started. So there's 1k. And we're just outside the section, so it's almost a 2k long straight. So 1.8 kilometres of straight line there, down that main straight, or back straight. So that's a lot of time to be losing, 10, maybe 15k an hour on the guy behind you, which is a lot of time in racing time. There's a lot of speed in a racing car sense. So Bailey now right on the back of him, giving him the flash of the high beam there. playing mind games on Mackenzie Stewart, but Mackenzie would be better known for that and be able to cope with that. Doing league racing in F1 for 3 nights a week, pretty much. So, yeah, he should be used to a bit of pressure from behind. He's got Mike there on the inside, but Mike's got right out of the way, so that saved him. He would have been hoping to catch Mike at the end of this straight to give him a bit of slipstream so Bailey doesn't get so much of an advantage, but unfortunately for Mackenzie Stewart, Bailey's just got the slipstream as Jacob actually does the quickest lap with a 31.8 now back there in P3. So he's just past Jordan, he's coming up to pass Mike as well. So, but Jacob's left Andrew for dead. He's 5.5 seconds up the road on Andrew, but remember Andrew's pitting a lap before Jacob, so it's Jacob wide rules that turn up there at the hill, as does Jordan by the look of that. So that could actually hurt Jacob just a little bit. Bailey did get that move on Mackenzie up that back straight. Sorry to not see that, but I'm assuming it would have been a pretty straightforward move. The Mustang's just got that much more straight line speed. It's not funny. We'll actually see the difference here. We'll jump on board Jacob and Todd at the end of the main straight, at the end of the back straight, and just see what the difference is between the Hyundai and the Mustang, just so we know. Mackenzie Stewart goes for a late dive into the hairpin, but he's gone wide. He's actually boxed oh no, he'll get this to the home from here. 7 laps, he should make that with a full tank of fuel, so that's, he's gone the undercut here. Andrew's jumped in, Mike's still out there. So what's Mackenzie's put a full tank of fuel in that car to get him all the way home, or 96%, so pretty much full. But now this puts pressure on Bailey, on Jacob a little bit to push, so Mackenzie, because Mackenzie's tyres, 7 laps old, will be dying at the end, whereas these guys' tyres will be a lot fresher. I'm not expecting them in for another 2, maybe 3 laps. Andrew I'm expecting in next lap, so he'll be coming in, yes, as I predicted, on lap 20. It is very confusing with no pitch straight being on the main straight. It's weird to get your head around, and I'm glad no actual racetrack do this. And if there is an actual racetrack that do this, feel free to leave it in the comments. But I don't believe there is a racetrack where the pit boxes are halfway around the circuit. So is Bailey coming into pits? No, he's not. He's staying out for 1 extra lap. So Bailey's still got a lot of fuel actually to save. He pitted lap 15 last time, so 11 laps. He won't get to the end. I would expect them both in next lap, as Andrew's now in pits. He'll get home from here, and he won't need to put in a fuel tank of fuel either, as Harry's in as well. So this is what's going to save Andrew, as Mackenzie's got around him. So Andrew's coming out of pits. What's he put in? 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So his car's light and he's got fresh tyres on. So what can he do now? And he's got the toe, almost the toe of Sebastian, pulling him up this main straight just for a couple of laps if he can keep within him. So 12 seconds between Andrew and Mackenzie. But Mackenzie only 2 seconds from Josh. Josh has still got a box once more, as well as Jacob and Bailey. Bailey starting the 21st lap. I'd expect him in the pits this lap. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. as Bailey comes down to the hairpin yet again for the 21st time, starting from last position. Effectively seems Alex Little didn't actually get to join the lobby in time. So Bailey in the pits for his final stop. I'm assuming Jacob will come in as well. Josh will come in this lap, maybe, possibly stretch it out for one more, but if he just stretches it out now, he's not getting the best out of the tyre life. So yeah, Josh is in this lap as well. Bailey's come out in front of Mackenzie, so you see now a bit of fuel saving has done here to the race. They're not all sitting in the pit lane for as long for this final stint. You saw them all fill the car right up for the final stint, whereas now they're actually holding back on fuel. Now Andrew has got Josh coming out at him with a fresh set of tyres by a lap, so that will be interesting to see whether or not the Mustang can get in front of Andrew. Andrew, a very quick driver. Mackenzie Stewart's got himself a time penalty of 1.1 seconds, but this time he's got a good buffer between him and Jacob. Now, we saw last race Jacob caught up to Mackenzie to take P4, so can he do it this time around? 8.5 seconds is a big gap to pull. He does a 2 minute on a pit stop lap, whereas Mackenzie's pit stop lap was 1:57, so he lost 2.3 seconds there out of the pit stop phase. So we'll see what he can do this lap. Andrews was a 57.7 as well, so Andrew gained a bit of time there on his pit stop on Jacob, but Jacob's just been able to keep it. Bailey now up the back straight. Mackenzie's starting his run up the back straight. Jacob has just started his run up the back straight now as well, as Andrew's just started his run up the back straight. Josh has now got Andrew in his sights, starting his run up the back straight. Harry with a good P6 at the moment. I don't see him getting any better. He's 12 seconds behind Josh and just doesn't seem to have the pace of the front guys at this stage. He was talking up his pace earlier in the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Sebastian up to P7, Brett into P8. Again, not the race he would have been hoping for. You know, it's not a Hyundai truck, it is a powered track, to be fair to him. So still all 13 runners. Bailey does his personal best with a 31.9, so Bailey's now on the push. Mackenzie does a 33.1, it's not his personal best. Jacob does a 32.4, so he's closed 7/10 of a second, so he is closing. Andrew done a 33.5, so Andrew actually lost time there on Jacob, which is unfortunate there for Andrew. And Josh has done a 32.6, so Andrew's losing time to both cars, the car behind and the car in front, which is unfortunate there for Andrew. But Andrew is the only guy that's running fully with no assists. So Andrew's running no ABS, no one's running traction control, no racing lines, no anything like that. So everybody's running ABS bar Andrew. So that's a massive leap there for Andrew to start with, because this game and ABS does not. It's not really realistic with the ABSing system. You can pinch a brake very, very easy, and Andrew should not do that. It's actually quite amazing. So Bailey now coming in to the end of the sector 1 for the 24th time, coming down to the hairpin. so he's pulling time ever so slightly. Mackenzie's actually done a purple sector 1 by 7/100ths of a second. Now that won't count for much because he won't outdrag a Mustang up this straight to end sector 2. So I'm not going to say Mackenzie's going to hold the personal best. He's steady with the 33s, low 33 since he's pitted. So I mean, older tyres now, I don't think he's going to go PB. Well, he's still showing purple sector by 7/10, so we'll just stay on board with this lap until the end here. Muriel and Ken have a great fight at the back. Thank you for that, Jaden. We'll just jump on board with that at the in a moment. Mike's just gone around there as this scene in the background of Mackenzie's shot. Mackenzie's coming across the line. No, he's still in the 33. He's 34 now, so I don't know where that purple section has come from. So Muriel and Ken is what we're saying, but there must have just been a bit of contact because now Muriel's got Nate Punkett right there with him, and that's how was Jaden actually seen that? He's not in the lobby, so I don't know, or he may be in the lobby, but great spotting there by Jaden. Apart from that, Josh is now caught up to the back of Andrew, so this could be a tasty little battle here. And Jaden will know both of these guys from the F1 tier in our F1 game, of course. Andrew being a newcomer, but he's a top tier AOR driver, so he has got pace, and he showed that last weekend with the pre-season testing. He actually topped the timing chart. So, but that was more of a Hyundai course than what this is. Josh has just got himself a penalty there, but you can just see the straight line speed on the Mustang compared to the Hyundai. So Jacob's not caught Mackenzie as quick as what he would have liked to. Yellow flags here as Mike's still spinning there at the S's. I'm not assuming that's the same lap, but I'm assuming that's a lap after, because last lap we saw Mackenzie was coming through. But Josh is now up to P4, but with that timing penalty looming, he'll want to pull away from Andrew or try and get rid of that time penalty. You saw there he's just lost a tenth of a second. So we won't go to the front of the pack at this stage. I don't even know where they are on the mini-map. 24 seconds up the road. I think that's Bailey just past them there on the mini-map now. So they're side by side coming down. Andrew's got a bit of a lead here coming into the hairpin. Andrew's on the inside. Josh is on the outside. He's trying the over and under. Has he got the traction? He doesn't quite have the traction on Andrew, but Josh will have the straight line speed now. So this will be interesting to see where Andrew goes to put the pressure on. I'm going to apologise to Bailey, Mackenzie and Jacob for not watching them cross the line as Josh tries the outside move there. Hasn't stuck, so Andrew might have just saved himself. He's not defending into this corner, so as Bailey's crossed the line now to win the race comfortably from Mackenzie Stewart. As Mackenzie's actually got Jacob right up his gearbox now. So I don't think Josh can do anything. Mackenzie over Jacob, over Andrew now to take home a brilliant P4 on the two-stop strategy. So that was absolutely amazing there from Andrew. Josh Banks to come home P5, just burning off the end of that. Oh, he's actually run out of fuel. That is devastating for Josh. He is known for that actually in the Gran Turismo Supercars League on our Season 1. He done that for most of the races not quite getting his head around the fuel burn, but P6 Sebastian Spicer, P7 Harry, P8 Brett Keane, and P9 will be Ken Doyle. A great little battle there for him and Amiral. So P9 there for Ken. Amiral comes home in P10, which is actually funny. He's got Jordan in P12 just in front of him. So Amiral hit the wall, apparently, from what Jaden was saying. So unfortunately, we didn't watch that great battle, but with 10 seconds left, these guys, as Nate is actually out of fuel, so he won't get across the line. So I'll get the top three into the party, and we'll do a quick post-podium chat with them. So we've had Mackenzie Stewart, Jacob, and Bailey. So we'll go with Jacob Todd to start with. Congratulations, Jacob, mate, starting at the back of the field after your P4 last race to come home another P3, mate. Great race. Just talk us through that again.
Yeah, basically exact same strategy as the last race. 3 stops, maximum fuel the whole race, and yeah, it just seemed to work a treat.
Yeah, so I didn't really catch that final lap for you all. There was a great battle behind you between Josh and Andrew that we were trying to watch there, but it didn't look like you were going to catch Mackenzie there with a couple of laps left. You were still 4 to 5 seconds off him, and then all of a sudden I clicked forward and you're right there with him coming around those last couple of corners. Did Mackenzie make a bit of an accident or a bit of an incident there for you to catch up, or?
I think he's getting rid of his penalties, signing down for penalties maybe.
Okay, so Yep. So I'll talk to him about that anyway. But yeah, another great showing, mate. P4 race 1, P3 race 2. So yeah, great round 1 for you. Are you ready for next weekend, or are you excited for next weekend?
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Okay, so we'll leave it there with you, Jacob. Go over to Mackenzie Stewart. Are you there? Another strong performance for you, mate. Another close finish with yourself and Jacob, again, right up the backside of you. Just talk us through that final couple of laps, mate. You were 4 seconds clear when I last checked, and then all of a sudden you were within the second coming into the final couple of corners. Were you burning a penalty, or did you have a bit of an accident, or? Yeah. Yeah. I just want to talk quickly about your teammate. He was the only one to pull the 2-stop, mate, and come home in P4. So, yeah, I just want to say a massive congratulations to your teammate for the great effort. Yeah. Well, I do believe that this is a straight line track. I actually jumped on board Andrew, and that back straight's near on 2 kilometres, so It's a lot of time to be losing if you're losing, maybe 10, 12k an hour to them down that back straight. So it's a lot of time you're losing. Hopefully the next track being a bit more twisty and turvy, it's a bit more a bit more equal for the Hyundais to be challenging. So with that, sorry, you got something to add there? Yeah. So we'll go to Bailey there if Bailey's got me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Bailey, mate, race victory after starting at the back of the field change. Alex didn't actually show up for this race. I don't know if he even knew we were doing race 2 tonight or what his story was. But anyway, great victory from you, mate. Pretty comfortable in the end. Did it feel that way in the cockpit?
Yeah, once I came out ahead of everyone in the from the last pit stop, I realised I was in pretty good position. It was my race to lose after that, so no, I guess I just put my head down and kept moving forward with it.
It looked like, from everyone's point of view, there was a bit of fuel saving going on throughout all of the stints. Was that the case? I know Jacob was just foot flat to the floor and burn as much as he could and pit when he needed to, but it looked like yourself and Josh and even the Hyundais were a bit more fuel conservative for that race.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I just went hard the entire race. I knew from the previous race that it was going to be a 3-stop either way, so that's what I did. I just put my fuel mix up to the quickest it could go, and just got along with it, I guess. Had some nice overtakes and some good racing. So
we're at Dragon Trail Gardens, I do believe, next week.
Yep.
How do you fare? The Mustangs are going to go against the Hyundais there, Chief?
I guess this one's a bit more of an even track compared to what we've just done. The middle sector is definitely a lot more Hyundai dominant than what the Mustang will be, but then again there's a few straights on the track where we can regain that time, so it should be a bit closer than what happened this weekend, I think, and hopefully it's a good race again.
And there's another death chicane, if I'm not mistaken, after their hairpin there. You can take the first part flat, and then the second part's just a dab on the brakes and throw the nose in and hope all the hell that you don't hit a wall. Do you see that causing any carnage, a bit like the death chicane did today?
I don't think that one's anywhere near as dangerous as the one is here at Tokyo, but you never know, we might catch a few people out if they're not paying enough attention, so we'll have to wait and see.
So we'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies to the New Zealand followers, as it is 1 o'clock over there, 10 past 12, as Mackenzie just alludes, and New Zealand and Queensland, it's 10 o'clock over there now. So sorry for all the late viewing, ladies and gentlemen, but thank you for everyone for watching round 1, races 1 and 2 of the Transnation Supercars. I'm Mark Bratby. We'll leave it here. Join us tomorrow for F1 streaming at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. I do believe it is there, Mackenzie, or is it 9 now? I can't remember. I think it's 9. Actually, sorry. 8. Yeah, 9 for F2. Yes. Yeah, so 9 and 11 for all your F1 stuffs, and we'll see you all then. And otherwise, have a great weekend, everyone, and I will catch you next time.